Hi, my name is Mutunraya. Welcome to my channel. In this video, you're going to be learning how to make this pleated detailed top for a 5-year-old. Let's get right into it, shall we? So to get started, what I have done is to draw a straight line just to demarcate the edges of the paper and also to, make you see what I am doing clearly. And then I went ahead to measure the shoulder width. A shoulder width for 5-year-old girl, an average shoulder width is 10 inches. So 10 inches, you divide this shoulder width by 2, that will give you 5 inches. So I measure 5 inches from this edge here to this point. That's 5 inches. And then I will come down by ½ inch for shoulder slope. ½ inch for shoulder slope. Then after coming down on the shoulder slope, I'll take the neck width. The neck width usually is 3.75, so I'll divide the 3.75 by 2, and then that will give me 1 point something here after dividing it by 2. I really don't know. So that is it. So I'll take my ruler and then connect the shoulder slope to the neck width like so, and that is it. So from the shoulder slope here, I'll come down by 4.75. That is the armhole, 4.75. My armhole is 4.75, and this is where 4.75 is. So that is that. Then I'll measure the 5 inches that I measured here, the shoulder width that I took here. I'll measure it again on this line just to make sure my line is straight, and then I'll connect the two lines, the two dots together, or lines together, and that is that. And then on this line, I'll measure a straight line because that is where our armhole is going to stand. So from this armhole, I'll take my chest measurement. My chest measurement for this 5-year-old girl is 24 inches. So if I divide 24 by 2, that will give me 20. That will give me 12 divided by 2 will give me 6. So I'll take 6 inches. So what I just did was to divide the 24 inches, which happens to be our chest measurement, by 4 inches. I divided the shoulder by 2, the chest by 4. So after dividing it by 4, I got this point. And then I'll measure the length of the top. The length of the top is 16 inches. 16 inches. So I'll just mark the 16 inches. Also from this point, I'll measure the 16 inches like so, and then I'll connect it together with my ruler. And then I connect it together with my ruler. Then from this point, I'll take my hip measurement. Round hip measurement for an average 5-year-old girl is 25 inches. So that will be 6.25. Yeah, that's 6.25. And the waist of an average 5-year-old girl is 23 inches. So that will give me like 5.75. 5.75. I'll just look for the midpoint here, somewhere around it. Or take the body's measurement, which is usually 8 or 9 or 10. Just take it at the midpoint here. Anywhere, just look for the midpoint. Let me take, for example, this is 10.5. You can see at the end of the video I took it at 5.5. Just look for the midpoint and take the waist measurement. Then you can now connect your lines together like this and like this. After which you can now add your sewing allowance of 1 inch. 1 inch is okay for your sewing allowance. So I'll add my 1 inch, and I'll also add my 1 inch here, and also add my 1 inch here. And then I'll take my ruler and connect it again together like this and like this. So that is it. So for the neck depth, you can decide to come in however you want it to be, but me, I'll be going down by 2 inches. I'm okay with 2 inches. And then you can just draw a curve like this. And if your hand is not straight, you can use your pattern master to draw out your curve. and also connect your armhole together too. So you can use your pattern master to connect your armhole together. So that is it. And also you can just start coming by maybe like half an inch at the armhole. It all depends on the style you're making anyways. So maybe like half an inch, but I think, okay, let's just come in by half an inch, or not even up to that. You can tell not to come in up to that. So I'm trying to redraw the armhole. So this is what your armhole will now look like at the end of the day. So that it's not too sharp. I don't want it to be too sharp. So now that we are done doing this, I'll just cut it out. Just watch what I am cutting out, so that when you are cutting out yours too, so now this is the front, and then I want to make sure that this line is straight. So what I'll do now is to measure, like take 1 inch for zip allowance on this line, 1 inch zip allowance on this line, 1 inch zip allowance on this line, zip allowance, and then I'll connect it together, because there is going to be zip at the back of this top. That is why I have to mark out the zip allowance. For the front, there is no zip in the front pattern, so there was no need drawing out a zip allowance. So after I have done that, I can take my pin and then hold this pattern down with a pin, with pins, because I'm about to draw out the back pattern from the front pattern. And the only difference between the front pattern, or differences between the front pattern and the back pattern, is the neck, the armhole, the armhole, and the zipper allowance. Those are the differences between the front pattern and the back pattern. The neck depth of the back is going to be of the back is going to be higher than the neck depth of the front. So I'll just make sure to note the neck width, and that is what I have done. This is the neck width. So the neck depth is going to be different from the neck depth of the back. So I have already drawn out the pattern, so I'm now free to cut out the front armhole that I have here. So this is going to be, and also the neckline, the neck depth. So now this is ready to work with. So the next thing now is to draw out the neck depth. You know, we did 2 inches for the neck depth of the front. For the back, I'm doing 1 inch. Then I can either take my pattern master and draw out the neck curve, or use my hand. So now we are ready to cut the back. Don't forget to label your patterns, front, back. So I'll cut it out now. sorry, I need to connect these lines together so that it's not slant. So then I will now I have placed the pattern on the fabric that we are going to use. So this part is for the front, this part that is on fold is for the front, because there's not going to be any opening at the front, and these other parts I used it for the back, because that one is going to be 2 pieces while the front pattern is going to be 1 piece only. Then also I will need to add sewing seam allowance on the neckline, the shoulder, the armhole, and also at the base of the top. I'll need to add seam allowance there. But then for the waist, for the side seam, I already added 1 inch, so there is no need adding any other excess seam allowance on it. So I'll just go ahead and cut. To cut the facing for the top, I folded a piece of the fabric into 2 like this, and I placed the front pattern on it, on the folded part, the part that is on fold, and then I placed the back pattern on the other side. So what I'm going to do now is just to trace out the armhole, the shoulders, the shoulder slope, the neckline, armhole, shoulder seam, and then I'll come down by 2 inches from the armhole line. 2 inches is just perfect, so I'll just get right into it. This is what I have after cutting everything out. This is the front, this is the back, this is the facing, these are the facings, and these stripes that you can see here are what I'm going to be using for the pleat that is at the shoulder, and it is 4.5 inches wide by 60 inches long. So let's get straight to sewing.